Welcome to part 4 of the IBM Rational CLM reporting tutorial series. In this part, I'll create a table, then pivot to create a crosstab. I'll also create a chart. The report that I'll build will be named Execution Results by Test Plan, Verdict, and Iteration. It has a column chart showing test execution results on the y-axis, test plans on the x-axis, and verdicts as the columns for each test plan. It also has a crosstab table showing test plan, iteration, test case, and test result name. I was building another reporting query studio using the reporting data model DW as my data package, so the first thing I need to do is to click the New Report button on the toolbar. Query Studio creates a clean workspace for me and goes back to the Insert Data menu item. You can see that the Reporting Data Model DW package is loaded again. Now I'll double-click the title of the report to change it. The editing pane appears at the bottom. Let's type the name Execution Results by Test Plan, Verdict, and Iteration into the title field and then click OK. The title shows up at the top of the report. Now I'll start adding query items. There's a set of metrics with measures and dimensions showing execution results with iteration. I don't need trending data. I just want a current snapshot, so I'm going to drag the total execution results measure from the current snapshot folder. Remember that a measure gives you a numeric result. So after I drag it to the workspace, you can see that there are 107 execution results. Next, we'll add some dimensions to the measure that will filter the data out so that we can see breakdowns of the data. I want to see the execution results by test plan, so I expand the test plan dimension and select test plan. I don't select test plan all because that's an immediate aggregation, and I plan to use the crosstab to do the aggregating instead. You can see that the execution results are immediately broken down by test plan. Now I'm going to add iteration and verdict to the table. Now you can see the data broken down even more finely to show total execution results for all the possible combinations of test plans, iterations, and verdicts. Now I want to change my report to a crosstab so that I can see summaries at the intersection of rows and columns. I'm going to pivot around verdicts, so I click the verdict column header, then I click the pivot button in the toolbar. The crosstab is created, but as you can see there are a lot of empty rows. If I wanted my report to show these gaps, I could keep them, but in this case I don't need them, so I'm going to filter them out. I need to choose the Total Execution Results header, then click the Filter button in the toolbar. In the pane at the bottom, the only selection that I make is to choose Leave Out Missing Values in the drop-down window and click OK. Now you'll see only the rows that have data, and you can see the filter is indicated at the top of the table. Now I want to add a chart to my report, so I click the Chart button in the toolbar. In the pane at the bottom, let's leave a column chart in standard format. Let's select Show Values on the chart, and let's leave Chart and Table selected because you want to see them both in the report. Then click OK. The chart appears above the table with the total execution results along the y-axis, the verdicts along the x-axis, and the test plans as the columns. This isn't very easy to read, so you want to switch the rows and columns. To do that, you click the Swap Rows and Columns button in the toolbar and deselect Swap the Crosstab because you only want to swap the chart, not the crosstab. Then click OK. Now the chart is more readable with test plans on the x-axis and verdicts as the columns. Remember that the table shows iterations, but the chart doesn't. It's okay for the table to show more data than the chart does. You want to add some more detail to the table to show the name of the test execution results. So you expand execution results detail in the data package and you drag name over to the table. This adds another column showing the new details. Now your report is done. You can save it to My Folders so that it will show up in Cognos Connection. You can also transport it to Report Studio to do some more advanced work on it. For example, you could add a project drop-down prompt so that your report users can select what project they want to see the report for. To open the report in Report Studio, go to the menu item Manage File and click Open in Report Studio. In Report Studio, the report looks different because it's separated out into report pages and report queries containing data items. But if you run the report in Report Studio, it opens up in Cognos Viewer, and as you can see, it looks the same as it did in Query Studio.